Hello, I'm John Sargent, and welcome to Argumental, the show where the sharpest minds in comedy debate the biggest issues facing mankind. Is every war about oil? What's wrong with the class divide? And does a Jaffa cake count as one of my 5 a day? Here to argue such burning issues and others like them are, in the red corner, Captain Marcus Brigstock and special guest, Phill Jupitus. Taking them on this week is the blue team captain, Rufus Hound, and his special guest, Frankie Boyle. We begin with round 1, where I ask the teams to tackle a major topic that has the world biting its collective nails. Tonight, it's this. Great Britain, the birthplace of Shakespeare, Churchill, Lord Nelson, and Kerry Katona. It's the country that gave the world the Industrial Revolution. It's where great British minds invented the steam engine, the telephone, and the EastEnders omnibus. So, the issue I want the teams to argue over is this. Britain is the envy of the world. Proposing this statement on behalf of the red team, it's Marcus Brigstock.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is not a question of proving to you tonight that Britain is great. We know it's great. It's in the title, Great Britain. This is just a question of proving that Britain is the envy of the world, that people around the world like Britain. And of course they do. You only have to look at the immigration figures to know that this is the case. I read the Daily Express. It's a quality daily. They state that the whole of Poland have moved here to Britain. What could have brought them here? Envy, ladies and gentlemen. They saw our climate and went, I want some of this. The weather to us is a little bit shit. We complain about it all the time. To the rest of the world, it's quite reasonable. They look at our weather. We're not ripped apart by hurricanes every few minutes. We don't have tidal waves crashing over us over here. It's quite reasonable. Occasionally, Tewkesbury gets covered in water, but that's fine. British people don't mind. If there's 2 things British people like, it's having a grumble and making an insurance claim for things that were never there in the first place. Reasonable weather. Reasonable animals as well. There's almost no animal in Britain that will have a pop at you. In Australia, they're everywhere. You go for a crap and there's a spider going, I'm going to bite you on the bollocks, you bastard! Not in Britain, that doesn't happen. The worst that can happen here is you get into a fracas in the woods with a squirrel over a nut. Steve Irwin, beloved of all animals in Australia, was murdered by a stingray. What's the worst that's happened in this country? Bill Oddie was shat on by a pigeon and Terry Nutkins lost half a finger to an otter. Ladies and gentlemen, we are the envy of the world. Why? Because we have John Sargent. That's what I'm talking about. They don't have a John Sargent in China. No, they beat him to death. With rifle butts. If you are not convinced already that Britain is the envy of the world, let me put this to you. The Cox's Orange Pippin, rhubarb crumble, custard, spotted dick, steak and kidney pudding, Yorkshire pudding, the Scotch egg, bangers and mash, the pasty, Stilton cheddar, yarg. The Eccles cake, the Chelsea bun, the bakewell, the cream horn, black pudding, dripping, curry, pork scratchings, pork pie and pickle. The envy of the world. Vote for the Reds, thank you.
OK, next up, opposing Marcus and the whole of Britain, it's Frankie Boyle.
Britain isn't the envy of the world. There are people lying in mortar holes in Chad with their knees blowing off and their lungs leaking out onto the back of a starving goat who, with their last rattling breath, will say, at least it's not Coventry. We're led by Gordon Brown, a man who looks like a sad face that somebody's drawn onto their scrotum. Says he wants to bring in super Asbos to Britain. Now, that sounds too cool, doesn't it? Teenagers will want those. We should call them gaybos or bender badges. think is behind gun crime and knife crime in London? Interflora. Look at the streets they're cleaning up. If you're a teenager in Peckham, it's a toss-up whether you'll die from knife crime or hay fever. As if this country couldn't get any worse, they want to bring in ID cards with retina scans and 49 items of information. ID cards won't stop your identity being stolen. Just means that once it's stolen, you're done for. You know, if I've left my wallet in the hotel, I'm going to need new eyeballs and a finger transplant. And let's not forget, as Marcus alluded to quite weirdly for his argument, the whole country is drowning. In 20 years' time, Norwich will be completely underwater. And the locals are delighted because they'll finally get a chance to use their webbed feet and hands. That is why Britain is not the envy of the world. Vote for us!
Thank you, Frankie. Rufus and Phill, is there anything you want to add in support of your teammates?
Well, aside from the fact that I thought that Marcus's rousing list at the end of his speech gave me an erection, I really don't... I think I kind of peaked at pork pie and then...
The pickle was just a bonus.
The pickle was just what tipped me over the edge. It was nice. Like the money... the money condiment.
It's a very racist country.
What is?
Yep.
Britain.
Yes.
Yep.
I had it.
Is it? Woo!
High five, brother.
Oh, don't go talking to me about that, Culloden. Bring it up.
Like those foreigners.
I said racist, not homosexual.
It's that too. It's got it all going on.
That's right.
So, to support your argument, Britain is the envy of the world because it's a gay racist.
That's one of the reasons, Rufus.
OK, gentlemen, thank you very much. Thank you. Now, which team made the best case? It's time for our studio audience to decide. If you think it was Marcus and Phill, hold up your red card. And if you think it was Rufus and Frankie, hold up the blue card. Vote now.
You British bastards.
It's a close one, but I think the red team have won. Well done, Marcus and Phill.
In ancient times, walk upon England's mountains green. In your
Thank you.
face, and kiss my mouth.
Thank you, gentlemen.
See, I know why you vote for him, because he's very lyrical. Because Marcus taught me a new word, which made me laugh. For
I can't tell them that
three.
word.
You've got to tell them the word. Tell them what the word is. If you describe it properly, it's quite nice.
I want you to imagine, ladies and gentlemen, a lady of a certain age who has decided to wear a reasonably high-waisted trouser with a tight belt that pulls in here.
Yeah.
And then there's an area before you arrive at the pubis
Yeah.
that seems to hang and swell somehow. And this area has a name.
Tell them the name.
And that name is the Gunt.
Gunt.
That's what it is.
It's a beautiful thing. He told me that word. He told me that word on Saturday, and I didn't stop laughing until middle of Monday.
OK, come along, let's get over it. So, Britain attracts millions of visitors every year. They come to enjoy our pageantry, our history, and Colchester's world of gnomes. Right, next up is the slideshow. One member of each team will again be debating a controversial issue. But this time, I want them to illustrate their argument with a series of random pictures which they've never seen before. Rufus, I'd like you to start by arguing that pop music is dead. Here's your first picture.
Oh, pop music is dead, ladies and gentlemen. And let's look at the pallbearers right there. Westlife. let me put it to you this way. A little while ago, I was on a train with David Attenborough. And Attenborough turned to me and he said, have you seen the front cover of The Sun? And I said, no, David, I haven't. So he passed me his copy. And there on the front cover was a big picture of Westlife. And underneath it, the caption, "One of Westlife is gay." Turn to pages 8 and 9 to find out which one. It was like they thought they were running a sort of Spot the Woofter competition. And it really gave me the hump, because there on page 8 was a picture of the big tall one, Mark. On page 9, the quote, "I am gay, but I'm proud of who I am." Now, hopefully I speak for everyone in the room when I say it wouldn't matter if he was gay, straight, rich, poor, black, white, we wouldn't care. But if you're in Westlife, what business have you got being proud? I suppose what I'm really trying to say is embodied by this next picture. Ein Volk, eine Westlife. Ladies and gentlemen, pop music is dead and Simon Cowell killed it. I thank you.
Thanks, Rufus. Phil, I'd like you to argue the opposite, that pop music is not dead. And here's your first picture.
Pop music, ladies and gentlemen, is very much alive. Alive in the form of performers like Britney Spears. Anyone else, some time ago, would have been accused of selling out and letting her career slide. But no, Britney came to prominence once more, scooping 3 awards at this year's MTV VMA Awards, where she was presented them by Russell Brand. But there is more to pop music than those prevalent acts that we see in our charts. Pop music isn't just about the mainstream. It's also about the independent, about bands like this. Half Man, Half Biscuit. Or other bands like this. Moby. Moby's independent vision of a world not run by Ticketmaster and major record labels has seen him selling his own music through the internet to the audience as he sees fit. Is that controlled by Simon Cowell? Sir, I think not. Look at Moby smiling there. I think you'll agree. He's very happy with his career and that marvellous blanket. And there are other acts as well. Madonna!
Look, pop music is about pop culture, it's about vibrancy, and it's about actually belonging to something. Our mums and dads used to love... my mum tells me stories of running to the shop to buy the latest hits. Kids just don't have that feeling with pop music anymore.
Oh, well, I'm sorry if I've upset your mum again.
To be fair, the last time you didn't upset her, you just disappointed her.
Right, time to ask the audience who made the best argument. For Phil, hold up the red card. For Rufus, hold up the blue. Yeah. That's a clear victory for the Blues. Well done, Rufus Hound. Pop music is so insubstantial. I prefer something with a little more guts, like Norwegian death metal. Hellhammer rocks. I don't know what that means, really. Join us after the break, when we'll be asking, is Jeremy Kyle making Britain a better place? Are cats better than dogs? And should marriage really be for life? Don't go away. Welcome back to Argumental, the show with more feisty conflict than a training session with Joey Barton. Our next round is called Flip Flop, where we find out how well our teams can argue with themselves. I'm going to give one member of each team a proposition which they must argue until they hear this sound. at which point they must perform a U-turn and argue against it, then flip-flop their argument every time I press the buzzer. Marcus, you're up first. I'd like you to start off by arguing that cats are better than dogs.
Okay. Cats are better than dogs, ladies and gentlemen. Of course they are. Cats are so much better than dogs. You only have to open a newspaper. When was the last time you read about a cat tearing a child's face off? Often, if you read the right papers, ladies and gentlemen. Cats are vicious, they're vindictive, they're deeply unpleasant, and that's to their credit, because cats have that independent streak that says, hey, you know what? I'm not that dependent on you. I'm actually pretty much going to do my own thing. They're much more like people, and that's why people like cats so much. Dogs, on the other hand, are filthy, needy things sniffing around at your balls. Please throw a stick for me, throw a ball for me. I need you, I want you desperately. And that's what's so cool about dogs. It's like, hey, come on, sniff here and we're friends. Put your nose beneath my gunt and we're all on the same team. Yeah? We're all playing. That's how dogs roll. You know? They're cool. Cats are horrid. Cats are horrid. Since when was this an endearing thing to see? About cats is they wait until you've got your food and then suddenly, with no warning, just for fun, they say, hey, do you remember what the end of a sausage roll looks like? It's like this, and that's why I hate them. I don't like sausage rolls.
Thank you, Marcus. Well flip-flopped. Frankie, you're up next. I'd like you to begin by arguing that marriage should be for life. Off you go.
Yes, of course, marriage should be for life. Married life has a logic to it. You marry someone, you make babies with that person, and the more babies that she has, the more that it erodes the parts of her body that make you want to have babies with her. That's the real reason that married couples don't go out. You don't want to sit your wife on a bar stool and then watch it slowly disappear. My parents stayed together for their entire married lives, and they didn't regret a single day of it until their murder-suicide in 1988. Of course, you could keep the spark sexually alive within marriage. Why couldn't you? Using pornography. Marriage is a wonderful opportunity for extended families to come together in a hotel car park and scuffle. They say familiarity breeds contempt, but what is hornier than having sex and having direct eye contact with someone who has complete and utter contempt for you? It's almost worth defaulting on the mortgage just for that crazy sex high.
Well done, Frankie. Time for the studio audience to decide who made the best argument. It's red cards for Marcus or blue cards for Frankie. Vote now. So a clear win for the Reds. Disaster for Frankie, but well done, Marcus Brigstocke. Time now for our celebrity round, where tonight the cause of the argument, as always, is this man. Yes, it's Jeremy Kyle, the Chav-Goder-in-Chief. Jeremy hosts a daytime chat show that's a bit like Question Time with Asbos. It has a regular audience of nearly 2 million people, half of whom have tags on their ankles and have woken up on the sofa covered in Chinese food. But the statement I want you to argue is this: Jeremy Kyle is making the planet a better place. First up, and in support of Jeremy, it's Rufus Hound.
Now, we live in broken Britain, currently binge drinking in Stab City with a pregnant 12-year-old high on crack. That is who we are. That is what we do. Is that the country you want to live in? Well, is it? Is it? And what do? We peer from behind the net curtain, write angrily worded letters to the council, tut, and say something really must be done. Well, there's one man who isn't scared. I refer, of course, to Jeremy Kyle, or Jez to his friends. He's never been called Jez. You see, ladies and gentlemen, it's one thing to see the nation's wrongs, another to set about righting them. As Whitney Houston famously never said, we need another hero. And here he stands, my north, my south, my east, my west, my something, something, something best. Well, stop the clocks. Every weekday at 9:30 because the moral compass is back in town. But unlike a normal compass, this one works. Yes, rather than pointing north, he points truth. He is unflinching. Look, didn't flinch. Britain has had it easy for too long. It's time for some tough love, Britain. You, sir, stop sleeping with your sister. You, madam, stop sleeping with your brother. Hello, sis, stop sleeping with me. You, stop being a heroin addict. Ah! Look at me! Look at me! You think it's easy being Jeremy? It's not easy being such a gigantic moral compass. With his help, ladies and gentlemen, maybe, just maybe, we can turn Stab City into Truth Town. And in the centre of Truth Town, opposite the cinema, there will be a statue. A statue of the daytime Christ. The writer of wrongs, our Lord, Jeremy Kyle. Can I get an amen? Can I get a hell yeah? Jeremy Kyle is making the world a better place. You know it. I know it. Jeremy Kyle.
Next up, opposing Rufus and Jeremy Kyle, it's Phill Jupitus.
Jeremy Kyle is the ringmaster of the anus of humanity. He could not insult his viewers any more if he came individually round to their houses during the show and raped their pets while singing Simply Red songs. Only saving grace he has, to me, as a television viewer, is that he manages to rid me of the massive, unscratchable, Lorraine Kelly-induced erection that I sustain every morning from 10 to 9 until 9:30. Please vote red.
So once again, it's time for our studio audience to decide who made the best case. It's red for Marcus and Phill and blue for Rufus and Frankie. OK, it's a clear win for the Blues. Well done, Rufus and Frankie.
You're appalled! You're appalled that you won!
They've convinced the audience that Jeremy Kyle has made Britain a better place. Of course he has. If it weren't for him, we'd still be watching that permatan tosspot Kilroy. Time now for the final quick-fire round and a last chance for our teams to show just how argumental they really are. I'm going to show them a series of images. All they have to do is suggest an argument to go with them, and this is the deciding round. So here we go, the first one.
This is an argument that sometimes your hair is trying to warn the world.
Is it an argument for keeping a leg and throwing the rest away?
I think this is an argument for the relative good fortune of John Lennon.
All right, the next picture.
It's an argument for stackable women.
It's an argument that she is going to limbo right out of prison.
It's an argument for a new programme which is going to be a feature of the BBC Two schedule.
Yes?
Gunt Watch.
That's right.
All right, next picture.
This is certainly an argument against the notion that glasses make you look clever.
It's an argument that in America anybody can be president, providing their dad was at some point president.
This is an argument that Bush, very much like Satan, has semen that is both black and cold.
How does Satan keep his black semen cold in hell? A sentence that I've often wanted to say.
That's never the thing about Satan's balls. While the rest of hell burns, that is the only place. And in fact, when you go to hell, Frankie, as you will, if you want to cool down, hang out round the nutsack.
Just be me and Westlife. Another cold one, boys.
OK, that's it. So for the final time, it's down to our studio audience to decide who made the best case. Vote now.
Please. Please, please, please.
So it's a win for the blue team. They've won the round, which means this week's winners are the blue team.
Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you.
Well done, Rufus Hound and Frankie Boyle. Commiserations to Marcus Brigstock and Phill Jupitus. That's all we've got time for. Good night.
If that wasn't enough argumental for you, and it wasn't, then get more argumental on our really rather swish website, joindave.co.uk. Next tonight, though, it's a New to Dave Mock the Week. Yeah, New to Dave!